Hey, this is Brad with BGS, and today we're going to talk about an app, really a group of apps that are essential for your ecom store. They can potentially save you thousands of dollars. Okay, it is essential that you have one of these apps, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Before we get started, again, I'm Brad with BGS. I'm a revenue optimization expert with BGS, and I'm also an instructor and coach with our e-commerce business blueprint, which is our beginner's level course. Okay, so now the apps I'm talking about, you're going to see it right here on the Midtown Comics website. Now, I'm choosing them because they actually have it. I pick on them a lot, but this is something really good that they do. They do have this app, and what I'm talking about is down here in the very bottom. You have this little guy right here, and this is for people with disabilities. Okay, so it's an accessibility menu, and you click that. Okay, then you have all these options that pop up where it can highlight links, you can increase the text spacing, increase the contrast, make the fonts larger, okay, can create tooltips, line height, okay, all kinds of stuff. And this is, again, is for people with disabilities. Okay, now there's two reasons why you need to do this. Okay, the first reason, that everyone should have access to your site. I mean, this is just a good thing to have, period. You want people that may be visually impaired to be able to purchase items from your site. So just in itself, that can increase your revenue just by having people with disabilities being able to have help when they're on your website, and they'd be more likely to purchase. Okay. The second one, and this is where you could possibly save thousands of dollars from potential litigation, and that's because of the American with Disabilities Act. Okay, let me give you some background on that because I have personal experience from it. I'm not going to say I was a victim of it because I'm never a victim of anything, but I was targeted by these guys. Okay, and this was back a few years ago with my retail store, because they do it both for brick and mortar stores, and now they've started doing it online as well. So let me tell you about this and kind of give you the background. Okay, so the American with Disabilities Act was an act that was created in the early 80s to provide equal access for people with disabilities. Okay, it's very noble. It's really a great act. It was needed. And just to give you background on myself, my little brother actually was wheelchair bound all of his life. So I've experienced what it is like to be pushing someone in a wheelchair and not having like wheelchair ramps, or if you have to go up steps and things like that. So I felt that pain. Okay, so that act was created to alleviate that. Now, what has happened in the past few years is you're having these lawyers, and they're actually groups of lawyers that will get together, and they will actually try to, I'm going to say blackmail, because really this is what it is. They try to blackmail store owners into settling out of court over the most minor infractions. Okay, and there was actually an article on 60 Minutes a few years ago by Anderson Cooper about this, and showed a guy in his bed with his laptop, and he's using Google Earth, and he's looking at hotels, and just using the Google Earth images, finding hotels that did not have lift gates in their swimming pools, and filing lawsuits. Okay, you also have people that would drive by, and you hear it like ADA drive-by. And people that will drive down the street and they will just look at any buildings that do not have wheelchair accessible ramps or not enough handicap spaces, and filing lawsuits. And it's really twisting this act, which is a great thing, for monetary gain. Now, what happened to me, I had, my background, I had a comic shop that's inside the Mall of Georgia. We were like a cross between a Hot Topic and a comic shop and a record store. And we were inside the mall, and these people from Alabama, again, this is in Georgia, but they were from Alabama, they walked store to store, and sometimes they would go into the store. In my case, they didn't even go into my store. They just took a picture of our cash wrap, the counter, from the doorway, and would look for any of the slightest infraction. and threaten you with a lawsuit. And they threatened me. They threatened pretty much every store in the Mall of Georgia. Because if you look at the act, I mean, you can twist it to things like supposedly I didn't have 3 feet of clear space on my counter. Yeah, that's what they got me with. The counter height, although there's nothing they could prove because they didn't have any kind of measurements of it. And also not having 3 feet of clear space on the counter. And that's what they got me with. If you go into any gas station in the country, they probably don't have 3 feet of clear space on their counter, right? It just doesn't happen. And how is that going to help someone with a disability anyway? Now, so they threatened me. Of course, they don't want to go to trial. They wanted to try to settle with a lawsuit. And what I did is, I was like really upset at first. I looked, and the thing with my store is we were not out of compliance at all because they didn't look at the back counter that we had where we had display cases. We also had tablets with square readers because we would do conventions where people, you'd walk out and you'd swipe the card and pay. And we did gaming in the store, so we had like little tables, little fold-out tables that were sitting there that were, kept empty so people could play games. But the majority of the time, unless it was like a game night or something, they were empty. So the whole thing was just like BS, and I kind of went on the offensive. So just to give you an idea, this is a Forbes article about this. This is from 2016 about the ADA lawsuit contagion sweeping the United States. I alerted our Fox 5 I-team, which is a Fox News, the local Fox station, their investigative team. They actually went to this lady's doorstep at her house, the lawyer, whose daughter was the victim, alleged victim, and went to her doorstep with a camera crew, right? So I kind of went on the offensive. And this also caught the attention of national news. This is Bleeding Cool magazine, or bleedingcool.com, which is like the TMZ in the comic book world. And they had Fox 5 Atlanta News as a piece looking at how people take advantage of the act have impacted local businesses, including comic store, rock shop, music, and comics, which was my store. Okay, so anyway, I kind of fought back, and it kind of like went away. I didn't settle. But what has happened is they have spread from the retail world of brick and mortar stores to the internet, which again is ridiculous because the act was written, I think, in 1981. So it predated the internet, but judicial rulings have upheld that it also applies to e-commerce stores. Okay, so which leads us to different apps that can protect yourself, because there are lawsuits left and right. These same people that are trying to blackmail different websites into settling out of court with them. Okay, so the good news is there is a way to protect yourself from this, and it has a side benefit of actually making your site accessible to those with disabilities, and it can also help with your search engine optimization, believe it or not. Okay, so this is the app. Now, when we looked at Midtown Comics, theirs is by UserWay. And that is an app that you can get, but it's not cheap. I think it starts at $50 a month. Okay, so I kind of looked around and investigated like there's got to be other ones out there. I think UserWay was probably the first app that really did this. But now you've got some copycats that you can look at. And I found this one, and again, you may need to check it out and test it and everything, but it's got 4.9 reviews, only 10 reviews, but UserWay, which is probably the top one, has 0 reviews in the App Store. Okay, so this one starts at $5 a month, and if you look at it, the widget looks exactly the same as the other, and it really has these same features. So let's look at it. This is kind of what it would look like. Again, it's got the bigger text, bigger cursor, contrast, grayscale. So it has a lot of the similar features to it. And I want to compare this to your house. So if you have a house, and you want to prevent burglaries, you can install a security system. Okay, now the actual system itself, it's great to have. It can help with other emergencies that you have in your house. They have the smoke alerts and things, or the 911 and things like that. But the main key to preventing theft or break-ins from your house, it's not the actual security system. It's a security system sticker that's on your door or window. Because if burglars and thieves if they see that sticker, they're not going to target your house. They're going to target an easy target. And it's the same thing with this. If you have this accessibility icon on your site, okay, they're more likely to ignore your site and go to someone that doesn't have that. Okay, so this is a layer of protection, just having this icon there. It's like your security, your ADT sticker, right? And with ADT, that's probably one of the top security systems around, but there are a lot of other ones. Same thing with this. You have UserWay, which is probably the number one right now, but now you have all these other accessibility apps that pretty much have the same functionality, but will be less expensive. Okay, the other key with this, and really with accessibility, is having alt image tags for your images. Okay, this is something that a lot of people forget to do, and it's got two benefits. One, again, for people that are visually impaired, it tells them what that image is, since they can't see it. Okay, number two is it will actually help with your search engine optimization. So your SEO actually looks at alt image tags. If there's keywords in there, that will help with your SEO traffic. Okay, so with this app, again, this is Accessibly. That's what it's called. Accessibly by On the Map Marketing. Okay, and if you go to the App Store, you search ADA and you can find these. Okay, it's $5 a month, but if you want the automated tagging, let's go to pricing here, it's $20 a month. Still a lot less than $50, but what it does, it gives you the ability for automated image alt tags. Okay, which is great. Now, if you don't have a lot of products, you can do it manually, but just remember to do it manually. Now, there are also other apps that will help with this. You're going to have some SEO apps. I had one that I use called Image Optimizer and Compression. It's called Crush.pix. Okay, SEO Image Optimizer plus Image Compression. Okay, and this one, it's a low-cost app. Back in the day, until pretty recently actually, your images were not automatically optimized or compressed by Shopify. You would have to do that either before uploading it or afterwards with this app. So what this app would do is it would automatically compress the images so your site would load faster, and also it would put your product title into your alt image tag. Okay, and it would automate it. So it was an amazing thing to have. I had a ton of products when you're talking about all these band shirts and merchandise and comic shirts and merchandise. Okay, that can be a lot. Okay, so it would totally do this, and it would be automated, and it's inexpensive. So one workaround, instead of the $20 a month for Accessibly with the automated image tags, you could do the $5 a month, and then do something like this with a SEO or some kind of image optimizer that will automate that. And depending on, again, how many products you have, it could be anywhere from free, if you have just a few, to $4.99 or $9.99 a month. So this may be more cost effective for you. Okay, and just to recap on this, the ADA is, again, it's an act that people are taking advantage of to litigate you and to take your money. And these guys really are, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. These guys are crooks. They should be disbarred. I really wish some kind of organization would form and really fight these guys and protect Ecom stores. But again, you need to protect yourself. So you need one of these apps like UserWay or Accessibly or something like that, because on the one thing, it's going to be amazing just to, make your site ADA compliant. and accessible to people that have disabilities and that are visually impaired. So you want to do that anyway. But second, it'll give you a layer of protection against being blackmailed by these guys. Okay, so that's my recap. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not really conversion rate optimization or anything like that, but again, it's something super important that you need to be aware of so that you're not targeted by these guys. Okay, so again, hope you liked it, and if you did, make sure you like, subscribe to our channel, comment. We love to hear your comments, and share. And if you would like assistance growing or scaling or even building your business, make sure you go to www.workwithbgs.com and we can help you build, grow, and scale. And I'll see you next time.